Accurately, I think that is a call for concern and something that is of great. So there are two sides of this discussion that we need to have and have like right now, Barrister Fru and Barrister Mbeseha. Uh, the importance we are actually in a mix here. There are those who are questioning our ability or our rationale or our sensitivity by saying that school is important, and if you are not subscribing with the idea that school should return, then you are not rational enough. But the government still argues that safety is better. Please, Barrister Fu, talk to us. It's a very sensitive issue.
Look, let me state the policy of this government, the government of the Southern Cameroons and Bazonia. The policy of this government as it concerns schools is that the safety of the children is primordial, but we put the responsibility of evaluating the environment to determine safety in the hands of the parents. If if the parents can ensure the safety of the children to school and back, there is no this government does not ban children from going to school. But we have seen where parents have failed also. The case of Caroline Andale in Boya and the case of baby Tato in Bamenda. They were going to school and coming back from school, and they were caught by bullets of the enemy. That is not the only case. We have lost children. Our population is being reduced because our young people are being slaughtered to and from school. And therefore, we have a moral duty to continue to talk about this problem of school resumption and ensure that parents should ensure that the environment where the children are going to school, there is no fighting. And if they sense that there's fighting around where the children are going to school, they withdraw the children. We will not allow them to allow the children to be slaughtered because they prioritize education. No. I would prefer my child to live than to die with a bullet prematurely. Live, and when we are finished with this war, our children will be educated, no matter the age. But at the same time, we have opened the thing for parents to take that decision as to the safety of the children going back from school, going to and from school. And all these sycophants, these are all La Republic proxies. Where is Akwanga fighting? And where Akwanga is known for collaborating with La Republique du Cameroon. Same thing with Critanu. Of course, the AGOFT and Ayapacho are the direct armed proxies of La Republique du Cameroon. They are being financed and armed by La Republique du Cameroon. His collaborator in La Republique du Cameroon is Colonel Bankwi, who supplies to ADF arms by air, by helicopter drops, and so on. And listen, these people have no moral duty to talk about anything in resumption of schools in the southern Cameroon, because they have since abdicated. These are sellouts that have lost their citizenship in the southern Cameroons. What the hell are they talking about? They want our children to go to school so that they continue to slaughter them. We are not refusing that they should go to school, but the parents should determine whether it is safe to send a child to school. We are for children going to school, but The parents must determine the safetyness of those children because the children are our leaders of tomorrow. We cannot start losing them now through the barrel of the gun coming from the enemy and his proxies. Ayabacho has been known to kill children.
You see,
Ayabacho has been known to slaughter children in Batubo and all over the place. What moral duty has he to come and talk about children going to school? And all those other psychopaths.
like I said earlier on, Barrister Fru, this subject of discussion is very sensitive and pulls a lot of emotions. And in light with with diplomacy, it can be used against us. And that's why I think that the government's position of throwing the ball back to the parents, who are the sole custodians of these children to make a determination, is quite strategic. But this begs the
Yes.
question of the ability of full functioning of government. Okay, the government is saying so for fear that they could be victims of a crossfire. And I'm coming to you now, Barrister Mbeseha. They could be victims of a crossfire or targeted killing, which we have seen, which has been the case. You mentioned Carol Lois that lost her life, the 5-year-old young girl that lost her life because of 500 francs CFA.
And
Here
Tato.
is the point, and Tato. Here is the point, Barrister Mbeseha. What is the substitute the government of Amazonia can provide to the international community as an argument rather than just throwing the ball into the hands of the civilians who themselves are victims of circumstance? I wouldn't want you to repeat the examples that Barrister Fru would have given, but what can we tell this international community is our framework to have these students or children or pupils getting some form of education as we continue to seek for our freedom or we await a negotiated settlement? We cannot not talk without a substitute. Talk to us, Barrister.
Yeah, Paddy, thank you for giving me the directives. But I'm sorry I will not go that way. Let me take it from my own angle. And I wish you permit me to do that. And I address this thing. I don't hate anybody. I wish somebody takes my remarks back to Mr. Ndiba Fontaine because they are essential. I'm going to address this thing in 3 sections. The first thing we look at is the context. The context. And the context is this. We all know that Mr. Ndiba Fontaine was a teacher at the level of the university. He was teaching in Boya University. I myself was a teacher, but not at the level of the university. I will know that teachers are models. They educate children. Children take them seriously. So I address this thing essentially from the angle of Dr. Ndiba Fontaine, who was a teacher, one. Two, Ndiba Fontaine, to the best of our knowledge, he was in Cameroon in 2016. He was part of the organization. He was taken into custody like Agwambala and the rest. He was released. He came into that struggle as a teacher because here he was heading the Union for University Teachers in Buya. And so he came there as a teacher. And so he understands what education is. My simple question is, Ndiba Fontaine has been there since 2006. Consortium. From 2016, we progressed to the SCACOF, to the Governing Council, to the IG, and today the government. Can Ndiba Fontaine tell us any of these stages where any of these governments or any of these groups ever call for a closure of schools? The consortium never did, SCACOF did not do, the Governing Council did not do, the IG did not do, the government did not do. And so, on what basis is Mr. Ndiba Fontaine calling for a resumption, a reopening of a school that he did not close? We had never closed schools. If schools closed, it was not because the Ambazonian people closed the schools. was for the fear that people escaped and abandoned the schools. And that said, let me go further to say that, you see, we're a little bit misreading them. When I read what they wrote there, it calls a lot into question. What are they called? What are they called? They are called a consultative commission for the transition to democracy in the southern Cameroons and Amazonia. They are a consultancy, purely a consultancy. So when did consultancy become part of the struggle? One would assume that being a consultancy, they have some, in a particular field, they have some expertise in democracy. If you need their help, you can go and consult them. That's what they call them. So that's the letterhead there. They are purely a consultancy. And so, where did they arrogate these powers to do what they are claiming to do? That said again, I say we're trying to mislead them. If you look at that thing there, say, I like to read on what they said. They did not consult with ANUD, at least by their document. They did not consult with those other groups. No. They consulted, they had talks with A Gov C, paragraph 1 of their statement. That their talks with A Gov C. And wherever they arrived at, they copied, it's written there, they copied Avis Cometa, Florentin Fanche, Iya Maranta, Anu. They copied them. So and the question he asks is, who are these people being copied? Why are they copying them? Why are they copying, for example, Elvis Cometa? Does he take part in the war? Does he have anything to do with schools on the ground? Absolutely zero. Why are they copying Florentin Fortune? Her title there is Roa. That is Republic of Amazonia. Since 2016, we have not heard Roa anywhere in the struggle. So why are they being copied the resumption of schools? They copied Choayaba, even though they negotiated with this team, they copied him. You know, I was probably negotiating with somebody else, and they were copying him. And they copied Akwanga. Akwanga, since 2019, by his own words and his own writing, since the COVID-19, Akwanga had down his arms. He called a ceasefire since 2019, officially. And so Akwanga is not fighting any war. So why are you copying him? Why are you copying him? So next, you find what they write there.
Just to add to what you're saying, Barrister Mbeseha, you know, Cho Ayaba lost his ego. Now I'm just adding so that you cue in. Cho Ayaba likes it when his ego is being fanned, that he has been consulted. And I like the way you're bringing to our attention. They're a consultancy. And consultancy is not going out of their own terms of operation by calling for a resumption of school, where the stakeholders fighting the wars have not even called for it.
Let me not miss the my story. They are simply seeking relevance. What have they done? Paragraph 1, they call for a resumption of schools on a fixed date, but no later than another date, October 2nd. The question you ask is, if a school opened on the 10th of October, are they going to close it? What do they mean? You must start school on the 17th, but not later than 2nd of October. So any school that opens after 2nd of October, they go and close it then. That's what their text says. And then they come to paragraph 2 and repeat exactly what this government has been saying in the content. This government has said we didn't close schools. The responsibility is for the parents. If you feel safe in sending your child to school, go back and send them to where you want. We didn't distinguish between private schools and government schools. If you want to send your child to Sacred Heart, to Our Lady of Lourdes, to a community school somewhere, even to government school, if you feel you can send them, you are allowed to do that as per this government. Many people did not understand why we took that position. Our listeners should follow this carefully. The government took that position for this reason. Even under colonial rule, it is the responsibility of the colonial administrator to run schools. When we were before independence, we were writing the London GC. the West African school certificates. These were all foreign things. It is their responsibility to educate us until they leave. And so our government, as a government, I say, well, because we're just, people seem to mistake and think that a school is a primary school or nursery school. What of secondary schools? What of universities? This government, which is collecting taxes from us, the government of Yaoundé, has the responsibility to educate our children until the time that they go. Because people have asked the question, we want to close the schools. You're asking they should go to school. Which exam would they write? They'll write it just anyway. The government, that's the only about that writes it just in Cameroon. They go to the University of Boya or to the University of Bamenda. And so that's why this government said, look, go to school for your own safety. We didn't close your schools. If you run away into some bushes and you cannot go to school, fine. But if you think you are safe, send your child to school. That is our position. And then they copy who again? They copy a certain Taylor of ACT. Who is Taylor? Who is ACT? All of us know what ACT stood for. ACT was Ambassador Coalition Team for purpose of the
So,
legislative
so,
initiative.
so, so
And
without
then
without you elaborating a lot,
they are monetized. They are
without you
monetized.
necessarily elaborating a lot, but it's we don't have all the time.
Okay.
What do you think that these people are actually looking for? Because it's about people positioning themselves,
Yeah,
creating
I was trying
titles,
to learn there.
using their
That's what I was
computers,
trying to learn.
typing
They are
documents.
looking for
What are they
they are
looking for?
looking for
Please land, please.
they are looking for relevance. They want to be cited. And this is not the first time that we have this sort of nonsense. We remember that the CDN in Canada, they monetized ACT when money came in and took money there. In fact, ACT was represented twice in Canada by Akwanga. Taylor was a representative of Akwanga in the team, and they took money. There's just one relevance to be said, they were also cited. Again, what does John Neba, these two signatories to the thing, we can see John Neba, they are signing as what? Are they the chairman of this group? The secretaries? What are they? Well, you put out a public document, Mr. Neba. Public information required that you put under what capacity as signing. So what is Neba to this consultancy? Is it the president? Is it the secretary general? Who is he? And his co-signatory to the thing. I think to answer your question, they are looking just to be relevant. Have we forgotten something they created after the last Canada talk? They created something, SCPC, Southern Carolina People's Congress, which came out with another platform they call the Secretariat. They listed so many people, wrote pages upon pages, good English language, and claimed that they were setting up something, the Secretariat, that will oversee the revolution, they will do the diplomacy, they will do human rights. 11 months into it, we have not seen acting. I'm very embarrassed, surprised that Nimba Fontem would not even have copied uh, the Konenge IG under Yerema. And so this is seeking relevance. To your question you asked, what do we have as an alternative? I think I've answered it, but let me re-emphasize. This government, the only alternative we have is, absent the government schools, if the communities can organize themselves into community schools, which are purely theirs, to help their children, their age school, age-going children. They cannot organize a community university. They cannot organize a primary school, university school. That's the only alternative we have. And again, as I've said, this government in Yaoundé, which is collecting money from us, taking money from our remember Grenco, and stealing it, they have the responsibility, for example, to pay the teachers in the University of Boya, because it's our money. The University of Bamenda. That's their responsibility until we get independence from them. The all other responsibility. Again, this government did not close any schools. We have not insisted people should not go to school. No. We've said go to school if you can. We didn't even go to say don't go with the uniform. The government did not mention anything. This government did not say don't go with the uniform, don't go with the flag. We simply say go to school. Whether you want to go with the uniform, we as a government, we have not taken that position. Our position is if you feel safe, send your child to school.